We all act a little nicer. We smile a little easier. We share a little more. For a couple of hours out of the whole year, we are the people that we always hoped we would be. It's a miracle. It's really sort of a miracle because it happens every Christmas Eve. And if you waste that miracle, you're gonna burn for it. I know what I'm talking about. You have to do something. You have to take a chance. You do have to get involved. There are people that are having trouble making their miracle happen. There are people that don't have enough to eat. There are people that are cold. You can go out and say hello to these people. You can take an old blanket out of the closet and say, here, you can make them a sandwich and say, oh, by the way, here. I get it now. And if you give, then it can happen. Then the miracle can happen to you. It's not just the poor and the hungry. It's everybody who's got to have this miracle. And it can happen tonight for all of you. If you believe in this spirit thing, the miracle will happen, and then you'll want it to happen again tomorrow. You won't be one of these bastards who says Christmas is once a year and it's a fraud. It's not. It can happen every day. You just got to want that feeling. And if you like it and you want it, you'll get greedy for it. You'll want it every day of your life, and it can happen to you. I believe in it now. I believe it's going to happen to me now. I'm ready for it. It's great. It's a good feeling. It's really better than I felt in a long time. I'm ready. Have a Merry Christmas, everybody. Did I forget something, big man?
God bless us, everyone.
Please go back to the coffee song. Oh my god, you guys are crazy. It's Christmas time, XR! Come on, man. 8 a.m. start. Yeah, sure, it's 8 a.m. somewhere, right? We'll get started in just a couple minutes, guys. Chet's fault. I'll explain why we're late. We'll get started in just a couple minutes. If you could smash a the like. Smash a the like. And just think that it's normal time. Just act like it's normal time. It's 10 a.m. right now. Nothing crazy happened. We're getting started as normal. It's like a time machine, you know? Now we're able to go back in time. Anyway, we'll get started soon. Smash like. All right.
And that is how I imagine you now. I very much hope that this new medium will make my Christmas message more personal and direct. It's inevitable that I
Chet.
should seem
Tylenol.
a remote figure to many of you.
Yeah.
A successor to the king's
Clear eyes. Yeah, let's get it going. Little Christmas beat. Okay, let's just get it started. I know we're late. All right. Good morning, if it's still morning, to everyone, and welcome to the morning stream here at the Den of Nerds. Definitely not over an hour late today. Definitely not. What's up, everybody? How you doing? Big old day for Disney.
I guess you were right, Linus.
That's a big old day for Disney, I tell you what. I gotta look at this. This is how you know it's bad. It's gonna be a bad show when I have to readjust the thing to be able to fit me and all that. You know what I mean? Yeah, so apologize about the stream going late today. Look, I'm just gonna be completely honest with you guys. That Cyberpunk game, though. Like, okay, here's what happened. We were playing Cyberpunk last night, did a little bit of a stream. I had to end the stream because it gets to a part with, like, very obvious nudity. And I was like, okay, well, we can't obviously have that on the channel. It's just not worth it. Like, here's the thing. It's just not worth it. I would have loved to keep playing with you guys and hang out, but it's just not worth it. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, we could chance it, but the potential, like, YouTube's really weird, and the potential bad things that they do, real bad. So it got to that point, I stopped playing. Here's the thing. Right after that scene, I didn't run into any of that stuff for a long time, which sucks. Because I wish I would have just, whatever. So I kind of like get into it. I'm playing, and it's just like The Witcher in that way that you've got your main mission, but then again, you see something on the map, and you're like, what's going on over there? What's going on over there? And then, you go over there, and it's a bunch of gang members, and you roll up, and you blast them, as you do. So, next thing I know, it's like 1 in the morning. And I was like, well, I could go to bed, but I probably won't actually be able to fall asleep right away anyway. I haven't been able to sleep very well. Maybe I'll just play a little more. Maybe I'll just play a little more Cyberpunk. Next thing I know, I woke up. It was literally 9:10. I woke up. I must have slept through my alarm. I must have shut off my alarms in my sleep. Then I woke up at 9:10. And I was like, holy shit. We got a show to do. It's a big day today. Big day today. Let's go. Let's get it going. Let's wake up. Woo! But yeah, Cyberpunk's really cool. I'll talk about that more later if you guys want to. Today, however, is going to be a strange kind of a day. Here's my current plan on this, and I don't know for sure how we're going to handle this because, again, it's so weird. I know that the investor day, which we're going to talk about today, we're going to get into, we're going to go over all that stuff. I know the investor day today starts at around 4 or 5 Eastern Standard Time, okay? But I also know that it goes for like 4 hours, is what they're saying. It's literally going to go for like 4 hours, okay? So, the question is, like, how are we going to handle that? And this is what I think we're going to do. Adam, are you in here? I think I saw you in here. So this is what I think we're going to do, Adam. If you're down. Let's watch the stream when it starts, but not go live ourselves. Or at least this is what I think we're going to do here on the channel. I'll wait until the first big thing gets announced. I think it's likely to be Star Wars, and it's likely to be filoni-verse stuff. And then as soon as that happens, I'll make a juicy thumbnail for that. We'll hop on. We'll start talking about that. And then maybe we can just kind of keep going as information is coming in. Because I do not imagine this 4-hour stream is going to be like, bam, 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 like announcements and shit straight up. Like, they're going to want to sort of schmooze people. They're going to have, like, low periods, high periods, etc. So that's what I think we're going to do. We'll start watching it. We'll wait till the first big announcement and or footage, which, by the way, I don't know. Well, yeah, we're trying to figure that out. Look for our social media. If you're not following us on Twitter, you should definitely be following us on Twitter. And we're going to get more active on Instagram and Facebook, maybe, unless those companies go belly up, which it looks like they might. So, yeah, follow us on Twitter. Follow the community tabs. Just stay tuned to the channel or whatever if you want to know what is going on. The Discord's also a great place for that as well, okay? But that is what we'll be aiming to do around that time. Now, here's where it gets weird. Tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is After Dark. Al and Lavis, every Thursday night, they have a show at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're not watching that show, I love that you guys are subscribing. You guys are amazing. But, like, I'm not on all my P's and Q's right now. Turn off these alerts. I can't handle it. No! No more! Stop it! Anyway. After Dark, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Alan Lavis, take you for a ride. It's a really good show. Now, the question becomes, if we start streaming at around 5 or 6, and the thing is 4 hours, and we're on standby, and we're waiting for info to come in so that then we can talk about it, pontificate about it, etc., etc. I'm just going to turn down the desktop so we don't get those alerts. At least I don't think they'll come in now. Anyway. So what does that mean? Do we run right into After Dark? I'm going to have to call Al and Lavis after this and try to figure this out. I think what we should do is have Al and Lavis come on to that stream with Adam and myself. By the way, I'm hoping to hop online with Adam from Fanjecture. Some of you guys know who he is. Some of you don't. Everybody should. Adam is a great content creator, but he abandoned us for Twitch and said he wanted nothing to do with the Den of Nerds. So we were beefing for a while, but now we're cool. So I'd like to have Adam on the stream with me. And then maybe Al and Lavis can come in and we can sort of do a baton passing sort of thing. Like, I've seen this on ESPN before, okay? Where, let's say, I mean, I don't even remember the shows, but let's say, like, Mike and Mike is passing it off to Bob and Bill, whatever. Maybe at the very end of the show, Mike and Mike are like, hey, and you know what? Let's bring in Bob and Bill from the Bob and Bill show coming right up. But before we get into their show, why don't we have a little round table here to talk about this? But whatever, okay? I think that's what we should do. Have them come on, speak a little bit on this stuff. Then we all go our separate ways. They go right into an After Dark stream where they will likely talk about what went on in the investor call. And then after the investor call, wait, what? What you saying, Ryan? Show notes? Yeah. It's kind of what we're doing right now, show notes, yeah. So that's how I think we'll do it. Now, the even crazier part is this runs right into the 3 a.m. watch party for Mandalorian. This is going to be an insane day. This is crazy. Like, this is quite crazy. So, regardless, there's a lot of streaming going on for us today. Okay? So, if you are not subscribed to this channel, make sure you're subscribed. If you're not a member to this channel, what are you thinking? You're definitely going to want to be a member. Duh. So, you probably want to become a member. And then, yeah, you're going to be hanging out with us tonight, man. It's going to be probably me and Adam. Then it's going to be Al and Lavis. Then it's going to be a watch party very early in the morning. Then it's going to be me and Al doing our usual stream up early in the morning, talking about nerdy shit. Come on by to the Den of Nerds live, 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, God. Okay. I think that's good. I think that's going to take you through today. And, again, I will I'll double check that with all the guys and all that kind of stuff. So we'll get that all sorted. So I guess we'll talk a little bit about the investor call, but I really wanted to do a lot of Q&A today. There is a big article that we're going to talk about. I think it was done on the Direct, and it is talking about essentially the filoni-verse. I hope you guys are used to this by now. If you are a hardcore Den of Nerds fan, if you've been watching the channel for a while, or maybe you just got in or whatever, you're gonna have this feeling continuously as you continue to support the channel that you already know most things that are coming in pop culture, and that you already have some information that is not known. But I'm telling you is this. These people are going to start talking about the filoni-verse. You and I have been talking about the filoni-verse for like 9 months. But they'll probably announce it and talk about it today. There's a big article about it. I want to get into that, okay? And then, of course, we want to talk about the MCU, the studio that grossed $23 billion and then decided to take an entire year off. Yeah. Definitely got to talk about them as well because, well, crazy stuff happening. Crazy stuff happening in the world. What's this beat like? Because I got to get off this lo-fi Christmas stuff. I mean, it's good, but it really only serves in the beginning. kind of chill. We can deal with that. And to be honest with you, I have it so low because the alerts. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit better. Now everybody's probably on the same page. All right, so what do you guys think? Are they going to, let me know in chat, yes or no? Yes or no? Are they going to announce the expanded Star Wars universe? That's what I think they're going to call it. They're going to actually literally jack the name, the expanded Star Wars universe. The filoni-verse. Are we getting filoni-verse? Damn. Look at all these yeses. Yeah. Seems kind of obvious, right? All right, so let me try to pull this up on my tweeter. I saw it pop up on my tweeter. And this is regards to the announcement of the coming Star Wars expanded universe. It's going to be a big day. And I think, too, one of the things I'm excited for, or at least that I hope happens, is that I've sort of had a really, really positive outlook on the future of Star Wars almost this entire year. And this is mostly due to a series of conversations that I had in the wake of The Rise of Skywalker with various people that work inside Lucasfilm, that are Star Wars fans, Marvel people, etc. Okay? So I went in, maybe, I don't know, maybe what you call like a going into the dark cave or something, man. You know, I went searching and I found some answers. And the thing that I kept hearing back then was that they knew they had messed up. And this was refreshing. And unfortunately, here's the thing that we're not going to hear on the investor call today. We are probably not going to hear, and I would be shocked. It would warm my heart if I was wrong about this. But we are not going to hear Kathy Kennedy come out and say, hey, guys, I screwed up big time. I screwed up big time. Don't worry. I'm out of here. I'm going to get out of here. And we're going to hand it over to John and Dave. Hey, John and Dave, get out of here. And then they all come out and they're like, what's up? You know, I don't think that's going to happen. But I was told early on that this was a reality, that though Disney would never come out and admit it, because it's just not their style, guys. They just don't like to admit that they're a fallible company made of human beings. It's really not their style. So I was told privately that, like, yeah, no, they know they screwed up. And not only do they know they screwed up, they're actually working pretty damn hard to correct it. And I was told this, that, second, and the third. The thing that really intrigued me back then was the amount of times that I heard, like, Marvel and the MCU brought up, and Kevin Feige being brought up as the person that was going to come over to Lucasfilm and help them. Lucasfilm was thirsty for this. They were hungry for this. They obviously see the success that Marvel Studios has. They really badly want it. Feige, strangely enough, loves Star Wars even more than he loves Marvel. And he wants to see it corrected. I think he wants to see it put back to where it should go. So what I'm really ultimately hoping from the announcement today with regards to Star Wars specifically is that maybe a lot of people that thought I was out of my mind for being as excited as I was will maybe now understand why, and also be like, oh shit, like now I get it. Yeah, Josh has been talking about the filoni-verse, and before that he tried to coin the phrase the Star Wars MCU, which all of you hated. Who remembers that? I want to know right now in chat. Who remembers? Put a 1 in the chat if you remember when I tried to make Star Wars MCU happen. It was like fucking Mean Girls. You guys were like, stop trying to make Star Wars MCU happen. It's not going to happen. It doesn't even make sense. How can it be the MCU if it's Star Wars? Yeah, you freaking buttholes. Anyway, you freaking buttholes. So I guess we call it the filoni-verse now. So, yeah. Anyway, So this stuff that I've been trying to talk about for a long time, I think that now will become more clear to people. We'll all be able to talk about it, and certain people that maybe had reservations, because I know I don't necessarily like intellectually get it, but I do know that it exists. That there are people that, despite everything that's happened, despite everything that we've been correct about, despite all the things that are coming to pass, they're still skeptical. They're still like, I don't believe until I see it, you know, and that's fine. Because you will see it. You're going to learn today, as they say. You're going to learn today. Let me see if I can find this article. What are we even doing here? Okay, here we go. Star Wars, the Direct. Now, I want to read this article like a normal streamer. This is what it would be so cool if we could be like a normal stream. If I could click a button and make my face much smaller and bring up the article for all of us to look at, that would be dope. The problem is when we try to come back into this setting, it's not going to have the chat the way I want to have the chat, and then I'm going to lose my mind. So you're just going to have to bear with me as I read the article to you. Okay? This is by David Thompson. It was published today. I'm just going to jump right to the news. A recent New York Times article reports that a significant expansion of the Star Wars universe will be announced during Thursday's Disney Investor Day meeting. The 4-hour investor presentation will be focused on streaming. Interesting. So here's all the shows they go through this in the article. Again, shout out to the Direct. What this means, we know that the Star Wars announcements are coming, but how many and how many should we expect? Official announcement of The Mandalorian Season 3, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, the Cassian Andor series, the Bad Batch, Star Wars Bad Batch show with Bo-Katan, gonna be cool. Ahsoka Tano's show will likely be announced. Boba Fett's spin-off show will likely be announced. The rumored High Republic Disney Plus show, which will be animated, is likely to be announced. So, I think... Okay, let's talk Star Wars for a while. I'll just kind of pontificate a little bit, and then we're going to get into Marvel, okay? So hold on to your butts. And again, we're going to do Q&A at the end of the stream. So the way this is going to go is I'm going to blabber my freaking Polish fat gums for probably like an hour more. We'll see. And then we're going to get into Q&A. So feel free to drop a super chat in, but you should know we will not be going over that until much later in the show. So maybe don't. If you're not going to be around, don't waste your money. You know what I mean? It's not a waste to me. It's just pretty cool. But, you know, that's for your sake. You should know what's up. Okay. Star Wars. The obvious move is to come out and use The Mandalorian as the launch pad for the rest of these shows. Now, they are obviously doing that already. Okay? Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, Boba. All of these characters are rumored to have literal spin-off shows spinning out of The Mandalorian, the most popular show on the planet right now. And, you know, I already thought the show was massive. The show's even bigger. I can't believe it. The show's even bigger than it was before. It's a phenomenon. It's big. So, what do you do with something like that? Well, you bring the bros out, right? You bring the bros out. You bring out John and Dave, and you have them explain the Star Wars Expanded Universe, or the Disney Expanded Star Wars Universe, or whatever the hell they call it. Just call it the filoni-verse, you fucking cowards. Anyway. Whatever they call it. And then one would hope they would bring John and Dave out and have them explain that they started building this whole new universe and the connective tissue, which is going to be the future of Star Wars. They started building it right around the time they realized what a massive success The Mandalorian was. And they'll probably use a lot of buzzwords and things like when we knew how audiences had responded, or when you understood that this was something audiences want. They're gonna try to frame it in a way where, hey, we understood that we had this crazy realization that, like, maybe people like, actual Star Wars and not freaking watered down corporate cookie cutter Star Wars. This was mind blowing to us. And so then they're going to talk about how, spinning out of that, they then create this entire bevy of shows. Now, what I'm really hoping is that they do give Dave the credit, because he's clearly the lore master. He's the dungeon master of this adventure. He's the one that's putting it all together. And even though John is the writer of the show, and John has technical skills that Dave does not, and that includes in writing, especially for film, John makes Mando look and feel as good as it is. But the constant boner that all of us nerds have because of the show, the reason that I had to call my doctor, that's Dave Filoni. That's Cowboy Dave, right? And so the bonerific stuff is the bedrock. That is really the foundation of where they're going to go moving forward. And I hope that they give Dave credit for that. Either way, they will likely bring them out. And I personally believe that it would behoove them, and I don't know for sure, but I would believe it would be best to sort of maybe even allow people to know that John and Dave are more running the show than Kathy. I mean, think about what the function of this is. You got to think in terms of what is the desired outcome for Disney here. And it's like, why do you got to think in terms of that? Well, because that's how they think, right? That's how they think. What is the primary objective of today? To get the stock price to go up, to get shareholders and potential shareholders to be bullish on Disney moving forward. That's what it is. That's the function. That's the primary objective. And this is where I think some of you will cheer. Oh, yes. And some of you will be like, nope, don't go there. But I think a change in direction, right? Think about what the New York Times article says. Let's read it. Let's read it before I make this point. Where's this freaking article? I literally just had this article pulled up. What's going on today, Chet? We're that far off today? Let's check out the New York Times article. Oh, it's probably big, huh? Ugh. Yeah, this is beefy. All right, we're not going to dig into all that. Point being, a significant expansion of the Star Wars universe. Okay, from a branding perspective, it's pretty simple what they need to accomplish. They need you to think all the old bad Star Wars stuff, like the sequel trilogy stuff that just didn't really do. I mean, to be honest with you guys, it wasn't really that great for the company overall. The shareholders, they know this more than anyone. They get the actual numbers. So what you need to do is to introduce to the public, and you need to introduce to the shareholders the idea of that was then, this is now. And there are a ton of different things that you can do to reinforce that belief. One would definitely be to be like, we've given way more creative control to Dave and John. They're now taking us forward. That's one way. Another way is to say that Kathy's got diminished power. Or maybe that Kathy is in the process of training John to take over, or training Dave to take over, or something there. This is all from a business perspective. Trust me, nobody at Disney is sitting there saying, how can I make Kathy look bad, or how can I feed the trolls? No, they don't give a fuck about you incel stupid. No, that's not it. The point is, for the more reasonable among us, the nerdvengers, the upper class of fan, if you will, we just want to know that the ship is being righted. And so there could be attempts made to reinforce that belief system. which would be interesting. And again, many of you would cheer. You know, some of you would be like, wah! So I'm interested to see if that happens. But as far as the show, or the shows themselves, let me talk about the shows, and then I'll talk about the potential movie, because this is kind of where I get interested in this. They're obviously going to announce the Ahsoka show. She crushed, dude. She crushed, son. Like, that was a big episode for them. They're obviously going to announce the Ahsoka show. They're going to announce the Bo-Katan show, and I think it still will have Cara Dune. I think it'll still be... I know there's some speculation that maybe she got fired or canceled or whatever, Gina. I don't buy it. I think that they're fine. I think that they will continue to do that show, and I feel strongly that that show is real. They'll do the Boba Fett show, and again, you know, we've already talked about this, so I try, you know, sometimes I try not to be a broken record here, but yes, I do believe we will have footage for all of these shows. I think there will be a teaser trailer or some kind of footage shown for Ahsoka. I think there will be some kind of footage shown for Bo-Katan. I think there will be some footage shown for the Boba Fett show. I think there will be footage shown for Obi-Wan, maybe for Cassian, and then after that, I don't know. After that, I don't know. Maybe some Thrawn. Maybe not. I'm not sure. I'm a 75%. Okay. I think it's possible we see Thrawn in some capacity before the end of the year. I just don't know if now is the time. Okay. So they're going to come out and they're going to basically be like, yo, here's Mando, here's all these shows, we're doing this nice, cool thing. It's going to be a lot more like the MCU. I wonder if they'll actually put that up front. I think they should. Just get people excited about the shows. That's what I think, I guess, when it comes to Star Wars. So, here, maybe we should stop for a second and do like a little bit of just answering questions about Star Wars, and then we'll go into Marvel. What do you think, guys? Wow, there's a couple people watching, huh? Good thing I wasn't late or anything. Dark Avengers announcement today, says James Heaton. Ooh, baby! Well, you know... never mind. I can't make that joke. The more and more people watch, this kind of sucks, and I'm sure everybody's not happy about it. I tell you what, I can tell Ryan's not happy about it. Ryan, I love you, but I know your shit, man. I know what you're upset about, and I know Al's probably a little bit upset about it. As the channel becomes more successful, as our numbers go up, we got to play just a little bit more nice. You know? Trust me, we're still raw as fuck. But we just got to play a little bit more nice with the other kids and the other people, the other channels and all that shit. So, you know, the OGs, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Darth Nebulous, I need info. Is there a way for me to watch the investor call? If so, what time and where can we watch it? There's a ton of different places you can watch it. By the way, Disney is a publicly traded company. It is fairly simple to become a shareholder. And if you were a shareholder, I believe you'd have access to this entire call. I think most of it's going to be publicly accessible. There will be some stuff that's behind closed doors, but then there are things like Reddit and 4chan and Twitter. We're going to get a very good look at everything that's going on. It's the digital age, man. It's the digital age. Nicholas Allen says, you think Mando is going to Camino? I do. Aldo Jaramillo says, do you think Alden Ehrenreich will be back as Han Solo in a future Star Wars project? I do. Steve, formerly of Princess Avery Wright, says, did you copyright filoni-verse? It's about to become a mainstream term. No, and I don't care to copyright that. I care more that people understand Dave's part in all of this. That's what I care more about. Darth Nablus says, I know a lot of people want Kathy to leave. I feel she should still be the face of Lucasfilm, like the Elizabeth is the face of England as the queen. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, some people really love Kathy, man. And look, I fall dead in the middle on that. Dead in the middle on that. That is what it is. Okay, so we have spoken at great length about Star Wars. Now let us get into the Marvel news, yes? Where's Adam's handsome face? Later. He's coming later, Vito. He's coming later. You'll just tell him that he's still sick anyway. He's a fence sitter. This is Avagar 06. Everybody tell Ayager 06 that he or she is the biggest idiot of the day. I think we need to dogpile on Ayager 06 until they delete their account. Just delete your account. This whole stream, I'm actually going to change the thumbnail now. I'm going to change the thumbnail. Look, lucky for you, you don't even have a friggin' whatever it's called. Iger 06. You freaking idiot. Go sit in the corner. Daddy's talking. Be with you later. So let's talk about Marvel. Das MCU. Wow. Can you believe they took a year off? Can you believe it? I can't. I still can't believe it. Went through it, lived through it. If you had told me that Marvel Studios was going to take a whole year off in 2020, I would have probably, well, number one, I would have panicked because it's a big part of what we do over here is cover Marvel. Number two, I would have just been very confused. You know what I mean? Now, where we're at now is actually a pretty interesting place because what originally started out as just a total disaster, right? Trying to figure this whole year out, trying to figure out the logistics of everything. What had begun as chaos and craziness is actually now, I think, put them more ahead than they even were at the time of San Diego Comic-Con last year. Now, this is something that nobody in the mainstream will talk to you about. Okay? Nobody in the mainstream will admit this, but it's out there and you can find it. Actually, there are some people that I think talked about this. But around the time, late last year, October of last year, there was a massive upheaval with the future slate and strategy of Marvel Studios. Marvel Studios had a plan, a tentative plan, for what they were going to do after Infinity War and Endgame. Okay? And around that time, I personally think because of Sony, they had to change things. They had to take some things off the slate. They had to move some things around. They scrambled. It was an audible at the line. And I also believe that Feige is a genius because what we saw at San Diego Comic-Con last year was almost like the B Squad and not really all the big juicy announcements that I think he really wanted to make. And he was forced to switch things up to audible at the line. And the slate we currently have from Phase 4, I think, is an incomplete, scrambled B Squad slate. Who knows for sure? Right? Only the Oracle. But that's what was reported. It was also reported that 2 separate times in this year, once very early on in the year and then once mid-year, another massive changing and shifting around had happened. So Marvel, and there's this expression. It's one of my favorite expressions that Captain America uses, where he says, "You never let them see you shit your pants." Feige, I think, quietly for the past 9 to 10 months, maybe even longer, has kind of been shitting his pants. But you wouldn't know it. And I think the old pandy, right? That's what we call it around here. The pandy. The pandy allowed Feige to finish up some of the deals, to grease some of the wheels, to figure out a creative way around certain problems. And I think that despite us not seeing much of him this year or not hearing much from him this year, that this man has been working. This man's put in that work, son. And we will see the fruit of it in the next couple of years. It's crazy because it kind of happened at a perfect moment, actually, if you think about it. Right after Endgame, the whole universe is reset. We're so curious about what's happening. And now he's essentially had an extra year of cushion time to just pull all of these pieces together. Now, where do we want to begin? Let's start talking about Sony. Sony, son. Yes, Sony. Again, we're not sure. We don't know. But presumably, they threw a big fucking wrench into everything late last year. Presumably, Tom Rothman and Avi Arad took a poop in a brown paper bag and set it outside of Kevin Feige's house on fire. Metaphorically speaking. They made a big stink of it. And now, instead of casting them aside, instead of letting all that money die on the vine, it would appear that Mr. Kevin Feige has figured it out. He got them to play ball. And we've been talking about this all year, but the amount of evidence to suggest that Feige is not just helping Sony out, but helping them out greatly is kind of impressive. I always go back to the Olivia Wilde thing. Why do I always go back to the Olivia Wilde thing? Because this is a person that maybe doesn't necessarily understand the gravity of saying little things on social media that give us an insight, give people like me insight into what's happening behind the scenes. And so 2 times this year, Olivia Wilde put on her social media that she was working on not only a Spider-Woman movie, but that she was getting direct help from Kevin Feige. Wow. And then she had the audacity, or maybe just the lack of understanding, and she said, well, now I have to stop talking about Kevin Feige because he's getting mad and he's going to blast me with his ray gun. Okay, so let me explain. The first tweet is bad enough. The second tweet locks it in for me, baby. The second tweet's like, thank you for signing, sealing, and delivering what's actually going on. Because, see, Feige wouldn't get upset unless there was something to get upset about. It's like the same thing in the Amy Pascal interview. The reason the Amy Pascal interview with Sad Feige is so funny is because that man is about to jump out of his seat and slap the sandwich out of her mouth. Like, he can't believe that she's saying the shit she's saying. Y'all catch the newest tweets and answers from Tom Holland about Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire? Do you know what his newest technique is? You know what his newest technique is? His newest technique is, for legal reasons, I can't answer that. Oh my God. That's perfect. Yeah, Feige's definitely got the ray gun. So, what are we going to get today from Marvel? One would think, I'm of two minds about it. One, they could sort of do a redo or a new version of the announcement they made last year. If you think about it, last year at San Diego Comic-Con, I believe 7 out of the 11 new projects that were announced were Disney Plus shows, right? Because it was really only like 4 movies, right? If you count Spider-Man 5. Well, they could technically just do a redo of that. Maybe show us some actual footage for WandaVision. Maybe show us some actual footage for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Maybe show us some actual footage from Loki, which apparently has wrapped principal photography. And that's why the thing about Marvel is so interesting today, because despite all of the multiverse stuff happening and being teased, the question is, how much does Feige want to focus on pushing that when there's all this other stuff going on? And then I started to think about it, and I was like, okay, but, I mean, Black Widow, the movie, does seemingly not a lot of multiverse, right? Shang-Chi, seemingly not a lot of multiverse. Eternals, maybe, you know. But then it's like Doctor Strange 2, that feels obviously very multiversal. That's the end cap of this. And what's the other movie that's coming out that year? I mean, we've obviously got Spider-Man coming out next year, but what's the other one that I'm missing in 2023 or 2022? It's not Thor, is it? Is it Thor 4? Yeah, Thor 4, right. Also kind of multiversal. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's what I'm saying. If you look at what's going on, you're going to get your Black Widow, but then immediately you're going to get WandaVision. WandaVision is going to set the table for the multiverse craziness. WandaVision is also a massive deal for what? Disney Plus. And so I actually believe, and I could be wrong, again, just living on a 3rd floor basement with 0 sources, below average IQ, coffee addiction, etc., etc. So I don't know. But I will tell you that I wouldn't be surprised if they lean in to some of the multiversal rumors and some of the things that are going on there, because it's really catching a lot of buzz. And then they sort of take all that hype and all that attention and they put it on WandaVision, where they're like, it all begins with WandaVision, January 15th, only on Disney Plus. Ah! And then everybody's pumped and we go check out Disney Plus and WandaVision on January 15th. But as far as like, are they going to bring out Toby and Andrew and shit? No. You know what I mean? No. But it is possible that we get some Sony stuff teased, right? I strongly believe Sony Spider-Man movies are coming to Disney Plus. I actually think Sony might even do Spider-Man shows that could come to Disney Plus. That has a better chance of being announced than the multiverse stuff with Toby today. And why does it have a better chance of being announced? Because, again, it is all about what is the outcome for Disney today. The outcome for Disney is to get shareholders and potential shareholders to be bullish on Disney moving forward, to show that Disney Plus is not only an asset, but the lifeblood and future of the company. There's also a ton of things that are rumored. Okay, so that's kind of what we know, right? Now we could talk about what is sort of rumored, right? Well, the rumored stuff's crazy. I mean, you've got Miss Marvel show, right? You've got, I mean, that's not even rumored. That's happening. Then you've got She-Hulk. That's happening. Then you've got Moon Knight. That's happening. But beyond even that, we've had a Dark Avengers Thunderbolts show rumored. We've had a live-action Doctor Doom show rumored. Yeah. Secret Invasion show with Nick Fury that leads right into Captain Marvel 2 on Disney Plus. Young Avengers on Disney Plus. Hawkeye, of course, is filming right now. We'll probably see some stuff for that. Yeah. Yeah. Daredevil. Ooh, what an interesting one. Let's talk about Daredevil for a second here. JR. Let's talk about Daredevil. I'm really starting to think that Disney bought the Netflix shows. Yeah. I'm really strongly starting to think that Disney bought the Netflix shows because according to Charles Murphy, there are even more Netflix characters potentially in talks to appear in the MCU. They already have them. Crazed Lizard. If they do, I'm not aware. And if you're speaking of something that's maybe widely reported, you're getting it wrong. Charles Murphy is not a reliable source. All right. Let's stop for just a second here. Everyone pour one out for Crazed Lizard, banned forever on the channel for acting a fool. Pour one out for Crazed Lizard. R.I.P., dog. R.I.P. Alas, we barely knew you. So, yeah, you never disrespect Charles around me. Don't do it. So, lost my train of thought. Yeah, regardless, I think it's gonna be very, very interesting to see what they officially announced today. Marvel is. I'm a little bit more curious with Marvel because Marvel has had a lot of time to tighten stuff up. They're obviously a massive, important brand. We've got nothing this year, but at the same time, they don't necessarily need to. They're not in the same position that Star Wars is in. Star Wars is in a position that I think truly needs to win back a lot of fans. You know, I think it already has. I think it's functioning well in that regard. But I think that it still needs to win back a lot of fans. Marvel doesn't. Marvel is not in that place. Marvel is in a different place, a different stratosphere. And so I'm really interested to see how much of the really crazy stuff that we know is coming will be announced and spoken about and talked about today. I don't know. Oh, Netflix shows. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, so I strongly believe that Disney might have bought the Netflix shows. And that they might be taken off of Netflix and literally put on Disney Plus. Yeah, that's what I think. Very possible. But yeah, that when it comes to Marvel, it's like I'm a lot less certain just because I'm like kind of confused as to what their strat is. I think the strat for Marvel is a little bit different than Star Wars insofar as it's just like, hey, here's all this cool stuff that's coming. Oh, and even more cool stuff is coming, right? I mean, the big question with Marvel, I think, is are they going to follow Warner Brothers' example and have all of the movies released for free on Disney Plus? I don't think they even have a choice. I think they have to. I think a lot of people will get upset. I think it doesn't matter. I think you move forward, you do your thing. The future is now, they can just yell at the clouds. That's what I think. But a lot less certainty with regards to the MCU. Okay. So there we have it. There's like my blabbering. Now let's get into Q&A. I'll go over some of the super chats. Now is the time, ladies and gentlemen. If you have warriors, now is the time. So yeah, throw your super chats in. I'll go over every super chat that comes in. We'll go for like a half hour more. I'll go over every single super chat that comes in. If you don't have any loot, don't worry about it. just drop your question into the chat. I'll try to grab a few from the chat as well, okay? Mike Porter with the $5 holla says, what if Thrawn comes in like Moff Gideon did last season? I wouldn't be surprised, Mike. I would not be surprised if Gideon or if Thrawn had a little scene at the end of the episode or the season, much like Gideon did, and we set him up for the big bad moving forward. I think that would be dope. Salvatore with the $10 holla says, really like your content and the way you talk. Slow and understandable. For the ones that are not native English Americans, can you make a video on your Star Wars collection, like items and stuff? Bye. First of all, Salvatore, thank you so much. I'm glad that you're able to understand me English. That's great, man. And yeah, thanks. I'm glad you like the content. Can I make a video going over my Star Wars collection? Maybe someday. I mean, like, I got a lot of Star Wars stuff, dude. Like, I'm a fan. You know what I mean? Somebody was mentioning, I saw somebody mention the Clone Wars Count Dooku figure. Somebody was commenting on it yesterday. It's signed by Dave Filoni, and he did a little clone trooper helmet illustration on it as well. That was from when he visited Edinburgh in 2009. Pretty cool, huh? Tim with the $5 holla says, hope you feel guilty for having to eat my pizza without your entertainment today. I feel terrible about it, man. I'm not pumped that I slept in. It was a disaster. You know what I mean? It was a disaster. But having said that, you know, we're doing our thing, and man, today's gonna be such a big day with streams. Yeah, it's. I think we'll end up making it up to you guys, but I do feel bad. 100% feel bad. Christian Riviera with the $2 holla, no question. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. Parth says, Josh, here from Theory's channel. Love the podcast. Hope you are well, with a very generous $20 hauler. Parth, thank you so much, man. Glad that you like the podcast with Theory. I love that show, man. Me and Theory, we've got some cool ideas, bro. We got some cool ideas. We're both just really busy, but we have some really cool ideas. And man, I couldn't imagine. I can't imagine. You know, earlier in the year, learning about all the cool stuff that Star Wars was doing. And just, that's enough for me. As a fan, honestly, that's enough. I just want things to be better. So that was already a blessing. But then, of course, to be able to talk about it with, you know, a bunch of you guys and be able to have fun and stream and all that, that's great too. If you would have told me at the beginning of the year that I'd have the biggest Star Wars podcast on the planet, that I would co-host this incredibly big show with the biggest Star Wars YouTuber on the planet, Theory is the biggest, and it's not even close. It's not even close. It's still kind of surreal to me that this guy and I are friends, that this guy and I stream for 3+ hours every Monday to hundreds of thousands of people, and we're just talking about Star Wars. It's incredible. It's a fantastic, surreal, humbling thing. So, yeah, I'm glad you dig it, man. I dig it as well. Fraser Cash with the $5 holla says, do you think Mando will run for 6 or 7 years with the baby going dark for the last season? I think, let me think about this. Do you think Mando will run for 6 or 7 years with baby going dark for the last season? I think it'll run for 4 to 5 seasons. And I think he will not necessarily go dark at the end. How about that? SCB with the $5 holla says, Josh, do you remember the Daredevil stuff I emailed you and you covered way back in April? SCB, I don't remember particularly what you're talking about, but I posted on Twitter a video that we did in March talking about the Daredevil thing. But you know what? Even that I was wrong about. So when the initial Daredevil reports, so there was a lot of different reports that happened with Daredevil. But one of the things that I found very interesting was the fact that a lot of people, including Jeremy Conrad, a lot of people were trying to get me to understand that Feige likes Charlie Cox as Daredevil so much that he's doing everything in his power to make sure that he comes back into the MCU. And I remember like people telling me that, and I was just like, yeah, but Feige's also Feige. He understands business. He knows why that's a far reach. I guess not. Well, I mean, he definitely understands business, but I think it's just he gets what he wants. You know what I mean? So, like, it's funny because even back then we're talking about it, and I was like, yeah, it's possible, I guess, but I really didn't see it. I mean, you guys know I'm business-minded first. So I was like, no, dude, because that's the answer I would have given. You know, come to me with that. I'm like, no, man, that's our biggest competitor in the vertical that we're putting everything into that they have market dominance in. Are you out of your fucking mind? That's what I would have said, right? But they made it happen. So, sorry, SCB. I don't remember the particular thing that you sent me, but I appreciate you. S Talk W with the $3.99 no message. Appreciate you. Josh, brother. Cyberpunk 2077 is lit. I only got to play for about 3 hours, but man, I was into it. P.S. Take my money. Yeah, man. That game is dope. I'm looking forward to playing a little bit more today. And then I'm hoping that they fix some of the glitches and everything like that. And the thing that's crazy about CD Projekt Red is if The Witcher is any indication, which I think it is, the expansions for Cyberpunk are going to be like full-length games, son. Full-length games, son. We're going to be playing Cyberpunk for the next year. And I'm here for it. It's dope. Let's see here. I'm just trying not to lose track of this. Christian Riviera says, you think Feige likes Hawkeye's Doom script? Oh, Howley's Doom script. I bet he really did like it. Yeah, I bet he liked it a lot. But it's also probably just running counter to what Feige wants to do with that character, right? But I'd love to see Noah Hawley be in the MCU in some regard. He is an incredible talent. I contest that Legion, the FX show, is one of the best comic book television shows ever, and it has a perfect ending. There are very few stories that have a perfect ending. Like, think about this. Stephen King is an incredible writer. You know how many good endings, not even great, but good endings Stephen King has? Not that many. A perfect ending is very hard to do. In fact, I ask you, chat, can you name me a book, TV series, or movie that has a perfect ending? I'll tell you one right off the bat, Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi has a perfect ending. But there are not many. I'm curious. I'm going to look into the chat. What has a perfect end? Breaking Bad? Yeah. Harry Potter books? Yeah. Endgame? Yeah. Ratatouille? The Princess Bride? Yeah. Gone Girl? The Wire? Lord of the Rings doesn't count. They have like 16 endings. Grandma's Boy? I appreciate. Monsters, Inc.? Yeah. Wow, you guys are going nuts today. Okay. So, yeah. So, as we've just decided, yeah, it's really rare to get a perfect ending. Pay no attention to all the people putting perfect endings into the chat right now. It's a lot. So, yeah. I like Noah Hawley a lot. Anyway. For Cuscula Lopez. ¿Qué pasa, güey? With the very generous 200 something or others, which I think is around 20 American dollars. Mucho dinero, güey. Gracias. Josh, first of all, happy birthday again. Do you think they would do a Boba series without bringing Han in at some point? Huh. That's interesting. That's a good question. Would they do a Boba series without bringing Han in at some point? So, that is an interesting question, my friend. You know, I tend to believe that the way they're doing these things now is they're almost looking for opportunities for fan service, or at least things that will get fans excited, which I think is really cool. And if you do a Boba Fett prequel series, I mean, you could potentially go pretty far back. Could show him as a young man. Could show him during the time of Empire. There's a whole bunch of different things that they could do. So, potentially could bring Han in, which could be cool. Go Joni Go with the very generous $9.99 says, you are dope as hell in your own right. I love nerd theory, but you earned your status too with the heart. Aw, that's very sweet. Thank you so much. Thank you. That's very sweet. Let's see here. Salvatore says, try to talk like a Wookiee. Try to say hello in a perfect Kashyyyk accent. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Please try it. Dang, dude, your weight. Yeah. Do you think the jailbreak setup for this week's episode is misdirection and something unexpected will happen? No comment. Parasora Tharasora Sing! Sorry, brother. I'm normally much better at pronouncing that. Hope we get a release date for The Falcon and the Winter Soldier today. Me too, man. Really like that show, man. I really like those characters. I'm really pumped about that shit. I'm excited for it. Where's it at, though? Thank you, Sing. Barthasarathi. Man, I'm gonna tackle your name later, brother. Bayek Spurp says, was Boba tracking Mando when he saved Fennec? Interesting question. Probably not, but maybe. Mike Porter with the $2 holla says, Josh and Den dominating. Congratulations, my friend. Hey, thanks, man. And thank you for being a big part of it, Mike. You know what I mean? It doesn't exist without you guys. S-Talk W. Disney get mad at me if I made a Huid/Star Wars channel? I wouldn't worry about Disney getting mad at you, bro. Burke the Nerd. You deserve your success. You inspired me to start streaming, and I'm happy to see you getting the recognition you deserve. I hope to chat again with you sometime. Absolutely, Burke, and thank you, man. That's very kind of you. Yeah, we're having a good little run of it. I'm going to be honest with you guys, though. I mean, and this isn't to say that I'm not grateful or appreciative of where we are at right now, but my sights are set pretty high, ladies and gentlemen. This is fantastic. There's like 1,500 people in here. That is literally like 1,000x what we began the year with. You know, we're starting to get noticed. More people come in to check our opinions, to check the different types of content. We're growing the network out here. But I mean, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think we deserve 10,000 viewers every day. You know what I mean? Like, I think we deserve 5,000 congruents at least every day. Every day. I want to suck the air out of the room for the other people that are streaming similar content. So we're working on it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of improvements that need made to this stream. This stream's fun and we have a lot of fun, but it's not as good as it could be. It needs to be more engaging, more entertaining. It needs to be on time. So I appreciate you guys, but my sights are set very high. So just don't mind me if I am not exactly taken by everything. You know what I mean? Enrique says, Pizza the Hut spin-off series. Ooh, that'd be interesting. Adam says, check Discord. Okay, I'll check it out. Uh-oh. Hang on 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Uh-oh. Wait, what? reorganizing our company. Okay. I can't talk about that right now. Okay. Thanks, Adam. I don't know. We'll talk about that later. Chris Listenfelt says, it's because your content is dope, dude. That's it. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And look, that is at the core of it. Like, if you're a content creator out there, the content, the product has to be the focus. It's not about me. You know what I mean? It's about the content. It's about the human element on the other end. Do people find value in this stream? Do people look forward to this stream? Does this stream happening make someone's morning better? You know what I mean? Are we doing the right thing in the videos? Do we feel like we're delivering good content? Is it click worthy but not too clickbaity? Are we being genuine? What's the timing in the video? Are we losing people? Are the edits too ridiculous? You know, these sort of things. The product, the content must come first. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I strongly feel as though we have a very good product. And that's kind of been the core of our growth so far. Jonathan Velasquez says, want a badge? Join the Nerdvengers today. Oh, yes, and you can support us. We don't actually do the Patreon thing anymore. If you want to support us, click that little join button. Hit them with the emojis, Nerdvengers. Hit them with the emojis. Got a great little group of emojis that are dope. We do behind-the-scenes streams with only the Nerdvenger members every Saturday, every Sunday, and then we watch party together as well. So, yeah, membership has its privileges, as Mike Porter would say. All right, I'm chilling for like 10 more minutes, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to take a couple questions from the chat, and then we're going to call it, okay? Dang, look at all those dope emojis. Don't you wish you could have those dope emojis? Oh, man, shit, those emojis are just too cool, man. Don't you wish you had those emojis, man? Dirt Wizard with the $5 holla says the content is awesome, but I think it's the cheers, like atmosphere in this community that draws people in. That's a great point as well. Community is very important, but you guys really helped us with that. You know, all we really did was say, hey, we don't really want any buttholes. You know, we'll deal with Trev. We'll deal with Trinity. We can deal with like a butthole level 7. Once you get past level 7 of butthole, you're kind of a problem for us, right? So that was the only real guidance that we set out with. And then you guys, just being the dope-ass human beings that you are, came in and cultivated that, creating the community that you now see. Not me, Dirt Wizard. You guys did that. You know what I mean? So, it's pretty sweet. Salvatore, Young Yoda trilogy or Darth Maul trilogy? I would actually prefer Yoda's backstory to be told in a book, which is interesting because some of the High Republic stuff will likely tell that story in books. And Darth Maul, I don't really need much more Darth Maul. I'm going to be honest with you, bro. We got a lot of Darth Maul, you know what I mean? Josh, is there a Den of Nerds Discord? There absolutely is a Discord. Ryan H. just put the Discord link into the chat. In fact, I'm going to pin that message. Den of Nerds fans, the party doesn't stop when the stream ends. Join the Discord now. Check that out. I pinned that message, which we actually didn't even have available to us just a couple of weeks back. We've been doing so well that we're literally unlocking new features and shit. It's kind of cool. Leo says, hey, big fan from France. Keep doing the good work, man. Hey. What's up in France, man? I hope you're doing well, Leo. I hope France is okay. I hope, Rona stuff's getting figured out. I hope that we can all get back to normal life soon, man. I hope everything's good over there, man. Dafter says, with the very generous 1466 super chat, I look forward to your streams and videos daily. The longer the better to help me get through my work day. Keep up the great work and get the high ground. Hey, man. Nice, Dafter. I appreciate you. Thank you. Pedro says, hey, Josh, I was wondering, I want to become a creative writer. Thoughts about going to school for this? Thoughts about going to school for this? By the way, I love your content and nerd theory. Okay, let me tell you something here, Pedro. tell you something about creative writing. And this is actually true of most things in life. It's kind of unfortunate, actually, but this is true. Some of the best writers in the world bag groceries at Aldi's. Some of the greatest hip-hop lyricists ever born on planet Earth sell on the corner. They get locked up. Some of the best basketball players on the planet end up checking into mental institutions. There's a lot of wasted potential out there in the world. Being a talented writer does nothing for you, or very little for you, if you want to be a successful writer. So I would try to think about the things that are going to put food on the table as a writer, as compared to chasing this grand idea of being the next Stephen King. You're not the next Stephen King. You're not. But you could be a staff writer for a couple different websites. You could be a contributor. You could be a freelancer. You could have your indie comic pop off. You could have your indie novel pop off. You could be doing your Audible, this, that, second, and the third. The new age in the new economy is all about, like, it's gig work, and it's all about, like, how do I monetize my skills as a writer and as a brand. So I would just tell you that if you think talent alone will get you to the place that you want to be at, perish that thought immediately. Perish the thought. Taz says, why is there not a Chewbacca series on the table? Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Sound G's with the $5 says, would you say that your connections were made before or after your channel got traction? Thinking of starting a channel, you and Star Wars Theory have motivated. A little bit of both. A little bit of both. A little bit of both. So you've heard this thing where it's like your network is your net worth, or like your Rolodex is really, really important. Like the contacts you have, it's all about who you know, not what you know. And yeah, of course, like if you were to have a big YouTube channel or whatever, yeah, you more people want to talk to me now than wanted to talk to me 2 years ago. You know, Roberto Blake is a great example of this. Roberto Blake, I think, is a phenomenal entrepreneur, a phenomenal speaker, phenomenal mind. 2 years ago, I would have had to pay Roberto Blake money to talk to him. Now, because he's familiar with my work, he's willing to talk to me whenever. Right? So, yeah, like it gets easier as you grow, but like, no, dude, like there's nothing stopping you from making connections. You know what you really, man, this is like a whole thing. I could do a whole thing on this, but people got it so twisted. In a world of people that are approaching other people trying to get something, you should be approaching people trying to give something. Because anyway, I don't want to go too deep on that. Because I'll start talking about other things. But you can always make connections. Making connections is more about how you operate as a person. And dude, you can make connections. Trust me. You end up at a crazy... Let me give you some advice. If you end up at a crazy Hollywood party, be the guy doing the dishes in the morning when the producer wakes up. That's all. Nick says, off topic, but I won't. But what kind of music are you into? I'm into all kinds of music, bro. All kinds of music. I love music. I really like the Gorillaz. I really like the Doors. I really like Mac Miller. I'm on a big Mac Miller kick right now. May he rest in peace. I love Blue Man Group. I saw them live in Vegas. I love Linkin Park. I like John Mayer. I think John Mayer is an incredibly under-talented musician. If you've ever seen John Mayer live, phenomenal performer, dude. And check out his some of his covers. They're ridiculous. Got exposed to you from Star Wars Theory. You come off as extremely genuine, not something seen every day. Keep doing everything you doing. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, Antoine. Baby Yoda's Escape Pod says, who would you rather see in the power seat for Star Wars, Filoni, Favreau, or Feige? Feige, hands down. Steve says, odds we see a solo series within the movie cast on Disney Plus. Oh yeah, I think that's on the way. Yeah. Also, those people know you're genuine, bro. I appreciate you. Okay, guys, we're gonna call it there. Phenomenal stream today. I apologize about being late. Keep an eye on the Discord. Keep an eye on the social media. It's gonna be a big day. Lot to talk about tonight, and then we're going into Mando as well. So hold on to your butts, as we always say. Okay. That's gonna do it for us today. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.